Today, we're going to talk about how to exploit marketplaces by using psychological hacks, and we're going to talk about how to do it legally. I actually have some notes here on my phone that I'm going to reference because this is an advanced concept that you can steal, that you can exploit, and use in your business, whether you're a beginner or whether you're advanced. I'm making these videos also to prove my competency, and then hopefully you buy something from me in the future. That being said, let's get into it. So today, we're going to talk about something called operational excellence and exploiting competitive advantages in the marketplace. Now, within any single type of marketplace that you enter into, there is going to be two different things. Number one is the zeitgeist, and number two is the meta. Now, the meta, I'm not talking about Facebook here. I'm talking about the metas that exist of what's working. So the meta is essentially what works in different marketplaces, what everyone is normalizing, what everyone is basically doing in order to succeed, or basically what's working right now. The zeitgeist is the longer cultural trend over a longer time horizon. So you can think of different zeitgeists as periods of a few years or periods of decades. In the 1920s, we had the Roaring Twenties. The zeitgeist was wearing, different dresses and had girls had short hair and things like that. And these zeitgeists exist in business as well. So my thesis here, and I'm going to read this off the phone because this is, again, it's a high level concept. My thesis here is that while everyone in the marketplace is focused on guarantees and they're focused on offers, they're focused on landing pages, these Google Doc VSLs, and they're constantly jumping from opportunity to opportunity, fundamentally, understanding the zeitgeist and understanding the meta and mastering the skill stacks required to be very good at the fundamentals, finding all of the fundamental competitive advantages that exist is going to allow you to exploit every marketplace that you enter into. And so this, I think, is going to be one of the biggest driving factors in a lot of entrepreneurial success at every single level over the next 2 to 5 years as we transition out of the mid 2020s into the 2030s. Because right now, marketplaces are becoming more and more sophisticated. There's people with more problem awareness, but now that so many people are getting into online business and getting into the space, what's happening now is it's harder to succeed if you're doing what everyone else is doing. And the way that you become successful in all these marketplaces, like I said, the bar is so fucking low that it's so easy to succeed, is you simply find and exploit all of the competitive advantages that exist in any single niche, any single given marketplace. And that is how I've become so successful and how I've made millions of dollars over the past 3 years since I was 24 years old and became an entrepreneur. So our solution here to this is we're going to do something called preemptive information gathering. Now, what is that? All you're basically doing is you're finding and gathering information before you go out into the marketplace and begin to pitch customers. You want to get an idea of what the opportunities are and how we can use all of the things that companies and businesses and that your prospects are currently doing as ammunition to flip it and reframe it so that you can succeed. Too many people are focused on too many different things. Using this fundamental strategy of looking at marketplaces, using your brain, using analysis, and using creative thinking and systems thinking is going to allow you to be very successful very fast. So if you include this inside of your sales assets, by the way, when you're pitching customers, you're going to find a lot more success because not only are you going to be able to explain their process, your process, you're going to be able to use all of the information, like I said, as ammunition in order to find more success. So some examples of this, and we'll go into key opportunities here. So some examples of key opportunities are weak landing pages, weak offers, weak copy. Either they have no back-end infrastructure or very little back-end infrastructure using things like spaghetti code. They don't have good email sequences. There's no systemization. There's no focus on customer service or customer experience or fulfillment, or there's no customer ascension model set up in businesses. Now, right now, I'm going to give you some information here. So what you can basically do, and you can do this in as little as 30 seconds, is go look at the website, go through their sales funnel. You don't have to buy any of their products. You go through their sales funnel. Things like for email marketing, right? Is a welcome email firing? Is the opt-in form optimized? And you're going to start to see different trends and different things that people are doing, and it's going to teach you how to look at different things within 30 to 45 seconds and understand a marketplace and flip that, make it better, use it in your sales assets, and explain that they are losing out on the competitive advantages because this is what their competitors are doing better than them, and here's how you can help them improve. So now I'm going to give you some questions that you can use to find all these different competitive advantages in your market. And these are questions that you can write down, you can put them on a Google Doc, you can ask yourself these questions, and then it's going to allow you to build better services, better products, and better systems than all of your own competition in the marketplace. Now, this stuff is very, very powerful, it's effective, and it gets results. So you want to ask yourself, and I'm going to just run through the list of questions here. Number one is, how can I make a better product than X, Y, or Z? Now, this question is basically just looking at different products. If you're in e-com, if you're in agency business, if you're doing whatever, you just simply say, can I make the product better? Can I copy the product? And can I make something better? Or can I just simply make a better product than what exists? What's working right now? How is it working? Why is it working? And how can I just simply do it better within a span of a few days or a few hours, put it out to the marketplace, drive traffic, and make money? Number two is, how can I get better results than X, Y, or Z competitors? So for service delivery, all you need to look at is the results that other people are getting their customers and getting their clients. Now, what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to simply understand how they put together and manufacture their case studies, how they show their results and how they showcase their testimonials and results and things like that. And what's going to happen is all you're going to do is you're going to take that process, you're going to iterate on it, and you're going to make it the best that you possibly can. And you want to make sure that you're making it better than all of your competitors. We have a focus here and an emphasis on not only showcasing our stuff and becoming larger than life and being as professional as possible, but making sure that we're absolutely stepping into every single marketplace and fucking dominating. Because if you watch my videos, I want you to dominate. Now, what are the competitors doing? This is question number three. Just look at what they're doing. Look at their offers. Look at how they're selling it. Maybe even go through their sales funnel under a different email. If you're a competitor, you can go through their sales funnel, you can see what they're doing, you can funnel hack them, or you can just go through their sales process and you can iterate on top of their sales process and start to understand why things are working, how things are working, and why they're psychologically and systematically doing what it is that they're doing. This works really well in information marketing and the info space and courses and everything like that. It also works well for agency services. You can simply just get a better idea of just simply going through their sales process. And this is something I recommend you do if you have no experience, because you're going to just simply be able to take stuff, figure out what people are doing, and then just make it better. It's very fucking simple. So next, question number 4. What are the current market trends? What are the metas? And how can I capitalize on them? So with right now in the info space, this past cycle was growth operating. It's information product agency, helping creators grow and scale. Before that, it was email marketing, and I was a big proponent of that. I'm one of the reasons why that business model became so saturated, because my old company, Cashflow Syndicate, had over 8,000 customers, and we got wild results for our students. And I'll put some screenshots here, some student results on the screen. You can pause it if you want to actually read through them. And so that being said, we just have to see what the current market trends are and capitalize on them. Now, a friend of mine went through Kris Jenner. Now, if you don't know who Kris Jenner is, she is the matriarch of the Kardashians. She's Kim Kardashian's mom, Kylie Jenner, Kendall Jenner, she's their mom. And she has a course on personal branding. Now, you don't have to buy the course, you don't have to pirate it, you don't have to look at it. All she said, and one of the most valuable things that she said in this video course that she made, this masterclass that she made, was the reason that they've become so successful is because of their ability to spot and capitalize on market trends. Now, if you do this too much, I want you to understand that you're going to be looked at as a grifter. If you're switching from opportunity to opportunity to opportunity, it's not going to go well for you. You want to take the underlying principles of why things work, like I said at the beginning of this video, the fundamentals, and you want to utilize those fundamentals in order to be successful. Now, what the Kardashians do, and that entire empire and their dynasty does, is they take things that they see maybe 1 to 3 times. If they see it's going to become a trend, they capitalize on it, they build a product, they build a business or a service around it, or they get paid for something within that new trend. And that's how they've been able to stay so dominant over the course of the past few years. So that's how I want you to look at that. What are the current market trends? What do I see people doing? A few months ago, it was AI, right? A lot of people were making money selling ChatGPT prompts and ChatGPT courses. People are capitalizing on new market trends and creating new market trends every 1 to 3 to 6 months. And these trends make up the market cycle. And there's a macro cycle and a micro cycle. The trends create the micro cycle, which becomes the meta, and the macro cycle becomes the zeitgeist. Ty Lopez kicked it off with his old 67 Steps program, the fucking video where he was like, hey, here I am in front of my Lamborghini. He kicked off internet marketing with courses once again after it popped off in the middle to early 2000s. So there's always going to be different cycles. There's always going to be different trends. And you want to find a way to capitalize on every single fucking one of them. Now, next, question number 5 is, what kind of messaging and what kind of advertising are people running? Now, all you got to do is simply go on Instagram and just scroll and start to like pictures and like posts within your different industry. And what it's going to do, algorithm's going to pick it up. You're going to get a ton of ads. Just screen record the ads, and then you can use hold on, there's a helicopter. Then screen record the ads, and then you can use if you implement it and put it into Loom, if you screen record it on Loom, you can just simply get the transcript, or you can write the transcript out yourself. And then you can figure out if you've seen an ad anywhere from 2 to 10 to 15 to 20 times in the span of a week or two, you know that that ad is converting, you know that that ad is working. So take that messaging, figure out how you can make it better or adapt it to your own service or your own product, or the best part is your client's product or your client's service. So if you're working with roofers, or you're working with HVAC, or you're working with home services or plumbing, what you're going to be able to do is start to get ads in that industry. And once you start to get the ads in that industry, you're going to see, okay, well, what are people doing? And now how can I adapt it, make it better? And how can we just run this and utilize what our competitors are doing to absolutely dominate our clients' competition for our clients so that we can get the best results for them possible? Okay. Question number 6. What does the customer want in terms of the buying experience? How do they like to be sold to? So when we think about customer experience, we want to make sure that we're white gloving as many customers as possible. Customers like to be sold to in different ways. I like to be sold to in a certain way. I like to feel like I'm not being sold to. A lot of people like to feel like they're not being sold to because you're so sick of bullshit salespeople hitting them up all the time. And that's why the passive cold call is so effective. Now, if you want the passive cold call script, you can go ahead, you can click the link in the description, you can get it for free. And like I said, my goal is to give you as much free value as possible so that eventually you buy something from me. When we think about different customers, we think about, okay, how are they being sold to now and how do they like to be sold to? How do they like to feel? And then you understand the psychology of how these customers like to be sold to and what these customers want. And you just adapt your process to that to fit with whatever marketplace that you're working on. So next, easy one. What do their websites look like? Can the websites be improved? Can the sales copy be improved? Can the sales process be improved? What's their sales funnel? Can all of this be improved to have less friction, to be more effective, and to make a more clear-cut offer? Now, this is super, super, super easy to do because a lot of these boomer companies and a lot of these businesses that are currently operating right now, especially in local businesses and even other companies online, they have no clue what they're doing. They had some guy, they paid him $1,000, $2,000 to do a really crappy website, and you can actually use my software Synthesis to go ahead and build websites for these people that look great. And we have a ton of templates already on the software, and you can get a free trial of that in the description as well. So that's an easy fix. You can even sell that as a service, as a full package service for anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000. It's very easy to do if you want to get started in business fast. You don't want any friction. You just want something that works and something to do. I'm not recommending everyone do that because you might hate building websites, but it's something that can be improved on with a service-based business, especially if you're taking all the time to work on what's called top of funnel, which is advertising and bringing customers in the door. You want to make sure that your process is as silky smooth as possible. Next, what's the customer LTV? And what that means is lifetime value. And how long does it take to achieve a certain majority percentage of that? Now, this is an interesting concept because when we talk about LTV, what we're looking at is how much is the customer going to spend? What's the goal of every single customer that comes through this business? Now, you can have a number of different offers, and you want to make sure that you're understanding what the funnel looks like. Okay, we have a customer that comes in here for $100, then they're sold on this for $500, and then they're sold on this for $2,000, which means the total lifetime customer is value is $2,600 or $2,600. Now, we're looking at this because we want to figure out how can we get them to spend a certain majority of that up front within something called a cash conversion cycle, which is, it really depends on the business, but you can try to get the majority, let's say 60 to 70% of that in the first 1 to 3 weeks or 1 week to a month of doing business. So that's an easy thing. That's a sales process improvement. And when we talk about solving problems for businesses and we're in a service-based business, all we need to really do is just go through the process and figure out, okay, well, what's the maximum a customer can spend? What's the minimum a customer can spend? And how can we achieve that faster using a more optimized sales process? Or can we use more follow-up? Can we use a different funnel? Can we use better copy or better offers? Or is there adjustments that need to be made in terms of the systems that are on the infrastructure or the back end of the business in order to make more money? So our next question is, what are the industry standard profit margins? Now, if you have a business like roofing where the industry standard profit margin is 20 to 30%, how can you increase those profit margins for the business? Can you optimize sales process? Can you get rid of salespeople? Can you increase the marketing efficiency or the efficacy? Can you make the ads convert better? If you can give a business that's doing $1 million a year a 10% higher profit margin over the course of the year, you're going to make them $100,000, and they're going to be very willing to spend $50,000 to $60,000 with you over the course of the year. Next, what's the turnaround time for all these services? This is super easy because now people are making turnaround time guarantees on their websites. You shouldn't do this. You should just tell the customer that on the phone or in the email that you're sending out to them when they actually respond to you and get engaged in the conversation. If you can offer a 48-hour turnaround time for your services, that means that they can start making money faster, as opposed to, hey, let's wait for 2 to 4 weeks so we can set everything up and we can take all this time and we can do this and this and this and this. So that's an easy one to optimize for. Just make sure that you get your work done fast. Next, and the last and final question here is, what are the expenses associated with this client's business, this client's service, or their product or opportunity? Can you decrease the expenses? This goes hand in hand with profit margin. If you can figure out a way to decrease expenses using something called systemization or automations or infrastructure, you can use Synthesis or software for that as well if you want to. And if you do that, it's very, very simple actually in theory. In practice, it's a bit harder because you have to have a clear-cut understanding of the client's business and what they're trying to achieve. But if you have a business that is operating at, like I said, a 30% profit margin, and you can actually be hired for less than what they're paying one of their full-time employees or 2 of their full-time employees to replace 2 of their full-time employees, they don't have to pay you taxes. They don't have to pay all of the other expenses that are associated with having that full-time employee on, whether it's a 401k match, whether it's some sort of healthcare, some sort of insurance, and you're operating as an agency or a service provider or a freelancer in the business, and you're able to replace multiple people's jobs that are just wasting time and wasting energy and wasting money, it's going to be a very good deal for the business or the client that you're working with. So I want you guys to keep all of those questions in mind. I know that that was a lot of information, and you can replay this video and you can write these questions down. Those questions, when you ask them, can be industry specific, or they can be zeitgeist specific, or they can be meta specific. What they're going to allow you to do is develop a custom plan of how your service fits into optimizing the competitive advantages that exist in a given marketplace. Now, it's like I said, this is very simple in theory. Putting this into practice, it's going to take a few hours to do. There's a lot of solutions that you can use. Like I said, you can use my stuff. If you don't want to use my stuff, it's totally fine. You can just use Google Docs and all that stuff and put it together. But if you're able to use this concept of competitive advantages and you're able to integrate this concept into your business, what's going to happen is that you are going to not only stand out from all of the bullshit and the market saturation that exists, but you're going to be more successful faster because you have a clear-cut way. By answering those questions, you're going to have a clear-cut plan of exactly what to tell the prospect when you're pitching them. You're going to have a clear-cut plan of exactly what to explain and elaborate on when you're doing sales pitches. And then on top of that, what this does, if you're able to answer all those questions efficiently and effectively, and you're able to communicate clearly, you're going to handle a lot of the objections on the sales calls and a lot of the objections on the front end. And even as a bonus, you can go and you can make videos if you want to be on camera. You can make videos answering all of these questions and have it as evergreen content that you can send to prospects when you're going throughout your sales process. So, like I said, if you want the passive cold call script that you can use to start reaching out to customers and start getting deals across the board as fast as possible, literally since I posted that video, there's been numerous comments of people telling me that they've used it and they've already found success with it. They've already used it to close clients, which is awesome. And if you want to do a lot more in terms of the automations and being able to systemize people's businesses as a service, you can go ahead and check out Synthesis, which is our software. I'm going to have both of these linked in the description. And like I said, the reason I'm making these videos is because I want you to be successful, I want you to be dominant, and I want you to achieve more than what I've achieved in the past 3 years, faster than me, and I want you to be better than me at some point in the future. So again, my name's David. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.